Good morning, Ms. Fuson.
Good morning.
If you would state your name for the court, please.
My name is Sarah Jo Fuson.
And how old are you today, Ms. Fuson?
I am 25 years old.
And tell the jury, where do you live?
I live in Woodlawn, Tennessee.
Where is Woodlawn?
It is the west side of Clarksville, Tennessee.
And how long have you lived in Woodlawn, Tennessee?
Since birth.
And who do you currently live with in Woodlawn?
My mom, my dad, and my brother.
And do you also have a sister?
Yes.
And where does your sister live?
She lives on base.
And when you say on base, tell the jury a little bit more about that.
On the military base, Fort Campbell.
And does she have a young child?
She does.
And tell us a little bit about that. What's her?
Her name is Willow Cole. She is my absolute world. I do a lot with her. She loves to ride in the car with me. When she stays the night at our house, she sleeps with me. I take her to do activities, like take her to the park or the jump park. We just do a lot together, and she's constantly asking her mom for me to stay the night.
And how old is Willow?
Willow is 5.
And what does your mom do?
My mom is a school teacher.
And what does your father do?
My dad is in law enforcement.
Tell the jury, how far did you go in school?
I obtained an associate's degree in liberal arts from Austin Peay State University.
And do you remember when you received that degree?
So I received it in 2020, but I wasn't able to walk until May of 2021.
Was that because of COVID or?
Correct.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about your work history. Did you work in high school?
I did.
Tell the jury what kind of jobs you had in high school.
I worked at White Castle, and towards the end of my time at White Castle, I was a crew trainer.
How about college? Did you work when you were in college?
I did.
And what kind of jobs did you have when you were a college student?
I worked at Panera Bread for a little bit, and then I worked at Kohl's in customer service for 2 years, and then I worked at a vet.
Okay. Now, after you received your associate's degree, I think you said in 2021, what kind of work did you do?
Right after that was the vet clinic.
Did you have any other jobs?
I did babysitting a little bit,
Okay.
and I think that was really it.
Did there come a point in time that you worked at a daycare called Golden Apple?
Correct.
When was that?
That was April of 2022, I believe.
And what was your job at Golden Apple?
I was an assistant 2-year-old teacher.
And where is Golden Apple located?
Golden Apple is located near the DMV. I can't remember which road, though.
Okay. And I may have asked this, but how long did you work at Golden Apple?
I worked there from April to July.
And what drew you to be interested in getting a child care job?
I've always loved kids. I've always cared for kids. I've cared for kids since I was about 15 or 16 years old. And kids just bring me joy. When I was at Tylertown, I absolutely loved all the babies that I worked with. They were my whole world. And I love kids. They bring me a lot of joy.
Let's talk about Tylertown. When did you go to work at Tylertown Learning Center?
July of 2022.
And who hired you at Tylertown?
Sabrina Carter.
And that's the same Ms. Carter that testified here earlier this week, is that right?
Correct.
And did you go through an interview process?
I did.
Tell the jury a little bit about your training to have that job at Tylertown.
So I had some online training where I had to obtain certificates. I had very little hands-on training. One of the hands-on trainings I did receive is to quickly lay the child back down so they could get their full nap. So yeah, that's about it.
What was your first assignment at Tylertown?
Assistant teacher in the 1-year-old room.
And did you ultimately go from assistant teacher to teacher in the 1-year-old room?
Yes, sir.
And how did you get that promotion from assistant to teacher?
So the lead teacher ended up putting her 2 weeks in. So once she left, I was up in that position.
Okay. Tell the jury a little bit about what the duties are for a teacher in the 1-year-old room at Tylertown Learning Center.
So the duties of a head teacher would be to make sure you have a lesson plan every week. Also, make sure there's regular diaper changes. They go outside twice a day, or we did foyer play when it was cold or hot. We also were responsible for nap, feeding, giving them their meals, and playtime as well, and reading books.
And what were your work hours at Tylertown?
I believe it was 7:30 to 4:30.
Do you remember what you were paid?
I was paid $10.50 an hour.
During your entire time of working at Tylertown, you remained in that one-year-old room?
Yes, sir.
And just so it's clear to me, you began working there when?
July of 2022.
And then you were terminated on or about January 10 of 23, is that right?
Yes, sir.
So how many months is that? How long were you there?
7 months.
Let's talk about Olivia Hyde. That's what we're here about this week. When was your first interaction with Olivia Hyde?
My first interaction was that Thursday or Friday before, when Nicole was transitioning her and another child into my room.
And tell the jury a little bit about the transition of the children from the infant room to the one-year-old room. How is that accomplished?
So what happens during transition time is they bring the children to the room, and they're basically trying to get the children to get used to me. So the transition when they come into the room is a little bit easier on the child, and then a little bit easier on me, so that we're used to each other.
What's the difference in the routine in the infant room versus the one-year-old room where you were assigned?
The infant room, they have nap time anytime they want. They have, I think, like, certain babies probably have a schedule to when they need to be fed. But I feel like they would definitely eat more than we would in the one-year-old room. And I mean, they would have free play like we would, but they were also allowed to have their pacifiers, and they had rockers in there. So it was a little bit easier to get the children to sleep.
In your mind, what was the significance of the infants and the one-year-olds having access to their pacifier?
The significance was it was kind of a soothing thing to them, so it was easier for them to soothe themselves and to go to sleep.
And that was in the infant room, correct?
Correct.
Also in the infant room were there rocking chairs?
Yes, sir.
And what was the purpose of the rocking chair in the infant room?
I feel like a lot of babies need to be rocked to sleep. So, I mean, I know Willow, when she was a baby, we would rock her to sleep. So I feel like that's a really good thing to have, just to soothe the baby, get the baby down, like get them ready to go to sleep.
You were telling the jury about Olivia's transition from the infant room to what I'm going to call the toddler room, the one-year-old room. And that began the week before?
Yes, sir.
The week before January the 9th?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What did you observe about how Olivia Hyde was developmentally as she was making that transition?
I observed that Olivia was a little bit wobbly when standing. As you notice in the videos, she was walking, but she's a little bit wobbly when she's standing sometimes. Also, if you realized in the video, she was falling out of her chair. So I feel like there was an issue with sitting up in the chair.
Ms. Fuson, let's talk about Monday, January the 9th, 2023. That's the day of the events that bring us here to court this week. Let's start by doing a little background. What was a typical day like in the one-year-old room when you worked there?
So a typical day was I came in at 7:30, and some kids would be there already, but some kids would be dropped off after 7:30, and the deadline for drop-off was 9 o'clock. So basically they would come in, we would do breakfast, and then after that, I believe I would check diapers. And then after we checked diapers, we would either go outside or go on the foyer. After that, we would come back in the room, and I believe we would do some free play, and then at 10:30 is when we got lunch. So once we got lunch, I would sit all the kids at the table, most of the time put the bib on them, and I would pass out the lunch to the children, and they would eat lunch. After that, I would typically put the cots out. And in the video, you don't see that I'm letting them pick out the cots, but typically I would let them pick out their cots on where they wanted to sleep. So we would do nap time. I would go on my lunch for an hour during nap time. And then After I came back, they would typically still be down, but sometimes they would be up depending on which time I went to lunch. So when they got up, we would do diaper changes, of course, and then we would have a snack at 2 o'clock. After snack, we would go outside or go in the foyer for some motor play, and then after that, we'd come inside for some free play, lesson plans, art, stuff like that. And then after that, it would be pickup time. Parents would start picking up probably around 4:30, sometimes earlier, like early as 3:30.
Now, on January the 9th, 2023, were you the only teacher assigned to the toddler room?
Yes, sir.
And how long had you been on your own in the toddler room?
Basically, ever since Alyssa left, I was given people from time to time, but it would never be a permanent thing.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. You mentioned that Alyssa left the employment of Tylertown when?
Probably 2 weeks later, but it might have been a little bit later. But I feel like it was the end of July, and then she put her 2 weeks in, so it had to have been at the beginning of August.
Okay. What do you remember about your interaction with Olivia on that first day?
I remember having Olivia was having a hard time sitting up in the chair, and I remember she was having a hard time going out for naps. She didn't want to go to sleep.
Let's back up just a little bit. What do you remember about the drop-off that morning?
The drop-off was completely normal. On the 10th or on the 9th?
On the 9th.
On the 9th, yeah. The drop-off was completely normal.
Yeah, we're talking about Olivia's first day in the toddler room. So tell me again, what's your recollection of the drop-off procedure that morning?
My recollection was that she seemed, to me, she seemed like a happy baby at drop-off on the 9th.
And do you remember if her mother dropped her off at the room?
She did.
And what do you remember about the handoff between mom and you?
I remember getting her blanket, and she may have came in with a jacket too, and then getting her bag. And then mom said bye to Olivia, and then we just went on about our day.
Okay. And when you went on about the day, I assumed you served breakfast at some point in time?
Correct. That was at 8 o'clock.
And how did the breakfast time go on that Monday?
Breakfast time, she was having difficulty sitting up in the chair. I was pulling her up quickly because I didn't want her to fall on the floor.
And given your routine in the toddler room, when did you all do lunch?
That was at 10:30.
10:30 in the morning. And when did you do nap time?
Nap time typically started at 12.
And this is her first day in the toddler room, correct?
Yes, sir.
And when it got to be around noontime for nap time, what were your observations about how Olivia was doing at that time?
I feel like she was having a really hard time going to sleep. I feel like it would have been easier for her to go to sleep if she had her pacifier.
So what happened at nap time?
What happened at nap time is you see me laying her back down on the cot. I was not aggravated. It was not intentional. It was, the injuries were definitely by accident, just the bruises. And I was not slamming her. I was laying her back down.
But let's talk about the training that you received as to how to interact with children at nap time. What were you told about how you were to handle children at nap time?
I was told to lay them back down quickly so they could get their full nap.
And who gave you that training?
Alyssa.
And was this some big structured training program of some sort?
No, it was just hands-on training.
Okay. And did she ever demonstrate to you how you were supposed to place the child back down?
I don't believe so, but she might have.
Okay. We've seen the video here several times this week. What do you think about how that video looks in terms of you placing or putting Olivia Hyde back down on the cot?
I can say that it does look a little rough, but I was not being intentional with being rough with her. The reason why I slid her down was to make sure she didn't hit her head on the plastic piece, and I made sure of that. Also, there is not a plastic piece under the mesh. It's just mesh.
Well, the jury will get a chance to see the cot. When you were first putting Olivia down for her nap, how did she appear?
She appeared to be upset and not wanting to lay down for nap.
Okay. Was she restless at all?
Yes.
Again, we've seen the video. In the moment when you were putting her back down on the cot, did you think that you were being rough in the moment?
I did not.
And then what was your reaction when you got to see the video?
I thought it had looked rough.
Okay. Now, on January the 10th, Sabrina Carter called you to her office, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And what was that all about when she summoned you to her office?
Basically, she just called me to her office to let me know that that Olivia had came into daycare with bruises on her arms, and that I feel like she said she found the video by then, because that was about 10:30. So yeah, so she had found the video by then, showed me the video, and I was like, yeah, that does look a little rough.
So this is Tuesday, January the 10th, is that right?
Correct.
And did Olivia return to school on that Tuesday morning?
Correct.
What is your recollection of the drop-off on the morning, Tuesday morning, the 10th of January?
So when Olivia was dropped off, I believe she was handed over the gate. And I remember her picking up a book, looking at the book, and waving to her mom bye.
Let's talk a little bit more about Monday, January the 9th at nap time. You were the only teacher in the room, is that right?
Correct.
And how many children were you taking care of on that nap time?
I was taking care of 6 children by myself.
And what sort of duties were you performing when you were trying to get all 6 of the kids down for their nap?
I was working on getting them down to sleep. A lot of them went down to sleep easy. And then I was also working on daily sheets as well. While they were napping, I would write down the times that they fell asleep and then the times they woke up.
What was your state of mind around nap time on Monday, January 9th?
I was completely happy-go-lucky.
Were you angry?
Absolutely not.
Were you frustrated
No.
about anything?
No, sir.
Was there anything going on in your life outside of work that was troubling you?
No, sir.
Now, you can see on the video you putting her down on the cot. And does she eventually go to sleep?
Correct.
And how long did she nap?
I think I got her up like an hour and a half, so I feel like she napped about an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 45.
And what's the procedure in the toddler room? Do the children just wake up naturally, or do you wake them up? What is the typical protocol?
Typically, they wake up naturally, but if by 2 o'clock they're not woken up, we should wake them up.
Okay. What are they doing after 2 p.m.?
They are having snack.
Describe for the jury, how did Olivia appear to you when she woke up on that Monday?
Olivia appeared to me to be normal. She was playing as normal, walking around a little bit as normal. She didn't seem fussy at all. She just seemed happy-go-lucky.
What sort of activities did you do with Olivia and the other children after nap time was over?
After nap time, I think that day we did foyer play because it was really cold outside because it was January. And then after that, we would do a lesson plan, maybe an arts and craft because we did that once a week. And then we would do some free play, and then it'd be time for pickup.
Okay. And what time is pickup generally?
So the latest they can pick up is 6. So they can come basically any time of day until 6.
And was Olivia picked up by her mom that day?
Yes, she was.
And what do you remember about the handoff between you and Mrs. Hyde
I remember letting her know that there was trouble at nap time.
And how did you put that to her? How did you tell her that?
I just told her that Olivia had trouble at nap time.
We were also talking about January the 10th. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That's the morning that you were confronted by Sabrina Carter. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And as a result of that confrontation by Sabrina, you were fired. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you were terminated effective January 10th of 2023.
Yes, sir.
Did there come a point in time after you were terminated that you wrote a letter to Sabrina Carter at Tylertown?
I did.
And do you remember when you did that?
That had to have been like a week after.
And what motivated you to write a letter to Sabrina?
I just wanted to apologize what transpired, and I wanted to let her know that I would never purposely hurt a child. And I also wanted to let her know that I was sorry that they were going through that investigation.
And you said that you put in the letter that you were sorry about what had transpired. And what did you mean by that?
I was just sorry that an investigation had started and what had transpired from what had happened.
Now, Ms. Fuson, you realize that you're under oath here today.
Yes.
And I want to ask you a couple of what I think are important questions on your oath today. On January the 9th, 2023, at nap time, were you trying to hurt Olivia Hyde?
No.
Were you trying to intentionally hurt Olivia Hyde?
No, sir.
Would you ever intentionally hurt a child?
No, sir.
And I think you've told us there was nothing going on in your life that day that would have had you troubled or out of sorts or anything like that.
No, sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
You said that you have a niece named Willow, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you saw the video earlier?
Yes, sir.
Yesterday, this week. Let me ask you this. Would you want someone to handle Willow the way that you handled Olivia?
No, I would not.
Why is that?
Because I love Willow. She's literally like my child.
And you wouldn't handle someone that you loved in the way that you handled Olivia, correct?
I wouldn't handle any child that way like intentionally. That was not intentionally.
You're saying you handled her the way we saw in the video by accident?
I handled her the way that I was trained to handle her.
You said you weren't frustrated that day. Is that what you said?
Yes, I was not frustrated.
So when you're not frustrated, you grab 13-month-old children by the arm and shove them into a chair?
It was not shoving into a chair, it was pushing up the chair. And the reason why I pushed her chair up to the table is so she didn't slip down and fall under the table. I didn't want her to get hurt.
So she slipped down right there, correct? She's crying.
Correct.
And do you agree that that was rough right there?
I mean, it does look a little rough. I will agree with that, but I wasn't intentionally being rough with her.
You keep saying intentionally. I mean, you're obviously intending to grab her by the arms and intending to shove her back into the chair. What do you mean by you didn't intend to? I don't understand what you mean by that.
I wasn't intentionally trying to hurt the child.
Okay. But you did, didn't you?
I feel like the bruises could have been done by me, but I do not believe that she has a skull fracture.
Okay, we'll get to that later. But you said the bruises could have been done by you. The bruises were done by you, were they not?
It's a possibility.
Okay. Are you saying that someone else caused the bruises? Is that what you're saying?
I am not saying that. I'm just saying that it's a possibility.
Do you recall speaking with Agent Jonathan McGowan of the TBI?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you recall saying that you would never hurt a child?
Yes, sir.
That's not true, is it?
It is true. I would never hurt a child.
You did hurt a child, though, didn't you?
The bruises might have been done by me, but the skull fracture was definitely not done by me.
You did hurt a child, though, didn't you?
The bruises could have been done by me, but
It's bruising, hurting a child.
yes.
And you said the skull fracture wasn't done by you.
No.
Called it a skull fracture, correct?
I mean, it's suspicious of a skull fracture. It was never diagnosed as a skull fracture.
So this is her first day with you, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree that she doesn't look ready to go to sleep right now? Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
I agree. There you're saying you pushed her back to make sure her head wouldn't hit the plastic, right?
Yes, sir.
I would agree with you, you did on that one. Do you agree that you still handled her roughly right there?
Yes, I do agree with that.
See how close her head is to the edge of that cot?
She is close, but I made sure she did not hit her head.
Let's keep watching. She's not ready to go to sleep, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, this next one coming up is the one I want you to watch. I know it happens fast because you push her down so hard, but watch where her head strikes. It was right at the edge of the plastic, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. I made sure that she did not hit her head.
Let's watch it again. We can watch it as many times as we need to.
It was under.
Let's watch it again.
I object to the showing of it. It's been asked and answered at this point.
Doesn't appear to be asked and answered, Ms. Older.
I'll move on, Your Honor.
Standing object.
Can I have the cot, please?
Yeah, because I heard you say yesterday that there was plastic under the mesh, and I thought you meant like the whole mesh. That is a plastic piece.
Under the mesh, correct?
Correct. I just thought you meant the whole mesh, you know?
Do you recall when you were speaking to Agent McGowan saying that it looked rough, but Olivia was fighting against you so hard? Do you recall saying that?
I do recall that.
Your testimony is that a 13-month-old child was fighting against you so hard.
I feel like that is not true. I feel like I felt intimidated at the time. So I feel like she was popping up, but she wasn't like forcefully doing it, if that makes sense.
You were intimidated. Who were you intimidated
By the TBI officers.
So you told him a lie, said that she was fighting against you because you were scared of him? Is that what your testimony is?
Characterizes her testimony.
Your objection is,
My objection is his question mischaracterizes her testimony.
restate your question, please.
You said it wasn't true is what you said, right? That would be a lie, correct? If it's not true, then the alternative is that it's a lie. So you told the
This is cross-examination.
You told the TBI agent a lie because you were scared? Is that what your testimony is?
Yes.
Why were you scared?
I was scared because I was worried how far the case would go. And I know that was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. And I realize that now. I realize my faults.
You were scared how far the case would go because you knew what you had done, correct?
No. I know that she did not hit her head.
You called it on direct, you called it laying her back down. Is that what you still want to call it today after watching the video?
Yes, sir.
And you also said at some point 2 or 3 times that it was an accident. You still stand by that?
Yes, sir.
I believe you said she was restless while you were laying her back down. Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
Would you have continued to keep slamming her head down the way you did if she had continued to pop back up?
I feel like after that 8th time, I probably would have picked her up and held her. because it was so many times and it wasn't working.
Because you had slammed her down so many times, but it finally did work. You finally knocked her out, correct?
It was not slamming, and I did not knock her out because afterwards she did not show symptoms of a concussion or being knocked out.
But you have experience in this toddler room a little bit. Do 1-year-olds normally go from fussy and fighting like that to immediately motionless? Is that normal?
She was motionless because she went to sleep. It wasn't because I knocked her out.
Okay. You must have a special ability to put someone to sleep instantly. Is that what you're telling people?
I mean, I guess, but I just know that she was not knocked out. She did not have a concussion because she did not show signs of it.
You said she eventually goes to sleep
Yes, sir.
after you slammed her head into the plastic edge of
It was not slamming, and the head did not hit the plastic piece.
Then you testified that after you woke Olivia up, she seemed normal. Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
But earlier you said that you also testified that you were overwhelmed and busy with 6 kids in there as well, correct?
I don't believe I said I was overwhelmed.
You said you were busy and alone with 6 kids. Is that what you said?
I don't remember saying that.
You did. Would have been hard to focus on Olivia alone, and wouldn't that be accurate to say? You had 6 other kids.
I mean, sometimes it is difficult, but if all of them are, laying down and napping, then it's not difficult.
When on direct, when Mr. Strines was asking you about the 10th of January, you said that when Mrs. Macy had dropped Olivia off, all you recall was her getting a book and waving goodbye to her mom. Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
So are you saying that when Macy Hyde testified the other day that Olivia was scared, are you saying that Mrs. Hyde is lying? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
And do you recall telling Agent McGowan during your interview that you wrote the letter because your father told you to write the letter?
I did say that, but it was also a part of me wanting to do it as well. It was just a suggestion from my dad.
Was that a lie as well, or was that true?
No, that was true. Mm-hmm.
Just wanted to, one more question, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Other than the part about Olivia fighting you, were there any other lies that you told to the TBI?
No, sir, there was not.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have no further questions.
Redirect, Mr. Strines.
Ms. Fuson, let's talk about the TBI interview. When you woke up the morning of that interview, did you expect to be contacted by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation?
No, sir.
And you were, what, 22 years old at the time?
Correct, because it was 2023.
And you were contacted by phone, is that right?
Correct.
And what do you remember about the phone conversation between you and the agent?
They basically said that they needed to meet with me to get my side of the story.
Did you call your parents before you decided to meet with the TBI?
No, I should have definitely called Dad, but I didn't.
And then you met with the TBI agent voluntarily, is that right?
Correct.
And there were 2 agents, is that correct?
Correct.
And they interviewed you in Clarksville?
Correct.
Remember how long that interview was?
I feel like it was like 15, 20 minutes.
And were you truthful with the TBI agents?
I was, other than the part where Olivia was fighting me.
Okay. And what about Olivia fighting back at you? What was wrong or incorrect about that statement?
She was like popping up, but the part that was incorrect is that she was fighting hard.
Okay.
She was fighting me, but she wasn't fighting me hard. She was at a normal,
So that was just really an unfortunate statement that you made to the TBI.
Correct.
Meaning that you characterize it improperly.
Correct.
Were you trying to lie and mislead the TBI?
I wasn't trying to at the moment, but at the moment, that's what I recalled happened. But as I have went over the incident in my head multiple times, I realized that's not what happened. So at the time, I thought that was what happened. But then as I went over it over the years, I realized, it wasn't.
Okay. But I mean, you knew Sabrina Carter and Tylertown had a video of it.
Correct.
And as you talked to them, you knew that they would have access to that video. Is that right?
Correct.
So it sort of was what it was on January the 9th.
Correct.
Where you asked them to come meet you, is that correct?
Yeah, I told them it was okay to come to Crunch to meet me. I think that was a bad idea, though.
They didn't surprise you, though. They called you and asked.
No, absolutely not. They definitely called me and asked me where it would be a good time to meet.
And then you just clarified on redirect, you said Olivia was fighting, she just wasn't fighting hard. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay.